Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be a bonus reading for the lunar eclipse that's happening in Taurus. And we're going to just do a Celtic cross for this lunar eclipse, just like I did on the last one. And we're going to see what comes up for you. I would make sure to be very kind of adaptable at this time. I actually feel this eclipse could be pretty good for you in particular. But what I would say is I would make sure that you're adapting to situations, meaning that, you know, probably nothing is going to go how you want it to go. And I know that sounds bad, but it's actually not, because we're probably discovering better ways of doing everything with this eclipse. You know, this eclipse to me is all going to be about kind of like rapid changes that we need to adapt to, whatever those rapid changes happen to be. You start off here in your current general energies with the Ten of Cups. Pretty good is what I'd say to you. Ten of Cups is like fortune after difficulty. Seems very dull in here today. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with the lighting, but hopefully it's okay, Pisces. And what I would say is that, you know, this is your true happiness, the Ten of Cups. These people are looking at this rainbow and it represents their happily ever after. I feel like you feel there's something in the way of your happiness. You have the Knight of Pentacles as your crossing energy, but the only thing standing in your way is probably you. I'm not calling you out here. And again, we're going to clarify through and see, but your crossing energy is the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles says you have all the information you need to get moving, but he's being too cautious. He's not making any moves in his life. For some of you, you know, this could be love, but again, what I would say here is that in the near future, you have the Two of Cups, which is true love, but I would also say it's like you and your higher self. So, and not only that, you have the Three of Wands. You are, again, definitely one of those signs that has, you know, a significant opportunity, I would say, to expand over the next, like, decade or so until, like, 2033 at least. And you have the Three of Wands showing up in your, over the next few months. But really, I would argue that that Three of Wands energy is pretty much something that you, Pisces, are going to be dealing with for a very long time. Three of Wands says, don't wait. Like, what are you waiting for? It's like you see something as your true happiness, and so why aren't you working on it, is what I would say with that Knight of Pentacles. In the area of your thoughts, you have the Devil. You could be thinking that something is toxic or is leading to toxicity or whatever. It doesn't even have to be that. You could just be thinking that something is controlling or that something would control you. I don't even think this is necessarily a person, although it could be, but you know, like I said, I feel this is like a lot of things. And, you know, it kind of makes sense to me that this would come up for you, Pisces, because, you know, Uranus and Taurus, for you, is all about freedom. It's true for everyone, but definitely for you. It's kind of like having a desire to be free to do the things that you want to do with your life and not allow anyone to control that, right? And so I feel there's a major focus for you on making sure that you maintain control, but you're also probably thinking about wanting to avoid things that could potentially control you. Relationships, businesses, jobs, you know, any type of situation that you can possibly imagine. It's like you don't want to commit to something here. And I'm not referring to love here. You know, I think that could be part of it, but it doesn't have to be. Like I said, there's a much bigger picture going on in this reading. And it's like, I get it. Like, I'm a Pisces, and sometimes, like, I don't want to say that I'm going to do something, like, too far out into the future, because maybe I won't. Maybe I won't want to do it. I'm sure you understand. You're a Pisces. That's, like, the energy I get here. In your foundation, you have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is something being dead, done, over with. You know, there definitely could have been, like, you being stabbed in the back type of ending here for some of you, although I feel this is talking about blessings and a very passionate new beginning. There's this, he's making the symbol right here with his hands that represents a blessing. And if we look at this reading, you know, we go up to the Two of Cups to the Ace of Wands here, which is really nice. You know, there could be a very passionate new beginning after a difficult ending for you, Pisces, especially if you went through one, I would say, like this year, or, you know, go backwards about 6 months if you went through a difficult ending. This could be a very passionate new beginning. There's definitely a Tower moment here. So I feel that in your past, and the beautiful thing about this reading is that you have the Tower in the past. The past in the Celtic cross is the energy that you are moving past. So I feel like you are moving past a Tower moment or some sort of difficulty. I'm wondering if you chose the Tower, is what I'd say here. You see how he's like jumping out of the tower, but this person's kind of like falling backwards? Every once in a while, I kind of feel like you're the person in the red. You're saying, you know what, F it, I'm diving head first out of this tower so that I can avoid something, right? And I almost feel like you either saw the truth or you learned some truths about a situation. You chose a tower. Could have been a shock to the other person if this is involving a person. I do feel this could have been involving a job or a business as well here, because you have the Five of Pentacles. And, I feel for some of you that you could have like left a job behind and maybe it surprised your boss or something along those lines, but definitely a tower moment. Next, in the near future, you have the Two of Cups, so definitely could be a soulmate coming in for you, for those of you that want love. Could be an earth sign. I'd say if it's not an earth sign, it's just any sign, or probably someone who's very stable, is what I would say. I kind of feel like some of you have a person who has their eye on you, but they're being like, I feel they are being a little bit too cautious, but I don't know, maybe, who knows, maybe you're just so damn attractive, Pisces, that they, are just a little bit nervous, right? And that's kind of like the energy I get here. I also feel that, this is you and your higher self. I always say that this card kind of represents you and your higher self. I feel like you've been communicating a lot, kind of like in your dreams, in your daydreams, and like all that other stuff. I just said in a video, like, 3 weeks ago or something, I've been having crazy dreams, and it like hasn't stopped, where it's like I'm talking to people, I'm getting information, and like all this other stuff. So I don't know, pretty weird. But what I would say here is that the Two of Cups, I feel, is saying listen to your higher self. You have the Three of Wands over the next few months, so a lot of expansion. But again, these are just opportunities. I always like to stress to people that like right now we have to do the work. We have to kind of get moving. It's not like we can just sit around and just wait for things to happen. So I feel like this is saying you're probably getting a lot of very good ideas during this eclipse, but you need to get moving, Pisces. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Five of Pentacles. Some of you could be feeling left out in the cold here, but I feel like you just need to not choose this. Five of Pentacles is like choosing to be a victim. These two people are choosing to be a victim. They are choosing kind of, to use negative words. I always say that Five of Pentacles says do not call attention to your weaknesses, including in relationships. So I would make sure that you're using words that make you feel strong, that make you feel like you can conquer the world. And those are the words that I'd be using here, Pisces. Next, in the area of your future feelings, love it, you have the Ace of Wands. Feeling like you have a new beginning, feeling hopeful, feeling like, there's sparks of hope going on around you as well. I frequently say that. To me, the Ace of Wands is sometimes like the only thing we need in life. It is that spark of hope. It is that like one thing sometimes that, maybe something is crumbling. This castle back here is crumbling. You have the Tower. So it's like maybe things seem like they're collapsing around you, but the Ace of Wands is like that spark of hope, that spark of inspiration that gets us moving. Like, it's like that thing that gives us ideas on how to be successful, or, how to move towards our goals, wishes, and dreams. And this is exactly the energy that I would tap into here with the Ace of Wands. I would also tap into this energy right here. Your outcome is the Strength card. I feel like you are strong, and you've been very strong. I feel like you've been very patient as well, Pisces. But the Strength card, I feel, is asking you, I'm kind of getting a weird message here. I feel it's asking you to kind of like look back at some situations that you've been involved in. And these are all situations: work, business, love, money, spirituality, pretty much everything. And I feel this is asking you to look at some of the tests, or some of the things that maybe you would consider a test. Maybe it wasn't really a test, but maybe there were some like trials and tribulations that you've been through over, I would say, like the past decade or so. And I would look at all those things that you've overcome, all the things that you've been through. I would even write those things down, all the things that you've been through, and say like, these things almost gave you, like medals, is what I feel like saying here, where it's like you've been through certain things, and because of it, it's like you've earned a certain title or whatever because of what you've been through. And then what I feel like you need to do, crazy message I'm getting here, but then what I think you need to do is I think you need to look at all situations that come to you in the future and say, like, is this at my level or below it? And if it's below it, it gets kicked out. If it's above it, then you could also accept it. But this goes for relationships, businesses, everything. It's like you are at a certain level. And this is what I'm getting from your reading, is that this, this eclipse, long story short, I feel, is kind of talking about your value and how valuable you see yourself, right? And I feel like you need to look at all situations in life and say, like, are these at my level, below it, or above it? And again, only accept at or above. That's kind of what I'm getting here. But there's a need to like examine things. All right, we're going to clarify with the, what is this again? Oracle of the Radiant Sun is what it's called. With the Ten of Cups And the Knight of Pentacles, you have this authority card. See, I think some of you could be becoming authorities or gaining authority, especially in like work or business, especially if you have like a certain knowledge or certain skills, right? You could be like teaching other people how to do things or training people how to do things. And I feel there would obviously be a lot of success. I always say to you, Pisces, that, you know, to me, it's like you've been through a lot, and everything about you, Pisces, is about being a teacher. But we're not talking about like teaching. We're more talking about being a living example. If I were a Pisces, which I am, then I would do everything I possibly could to be an example to other people in your own personal life, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be that big. You could just be an example for one person, you know? Maybe you have a child or something like that, and you could be an example for that person as well. And it doesn't matter how big or small you choose, but what I would do is I would be thinking like, how can I teach through being a living example, basically. With the Devil, you have this flattery card here. So I would be careful of people trying to like, you know, be just flattering you all the time or something like that. I'm wondering, you know, for some of you, it's like maybe you feel like you bought into like a mirage, something that didn't actually exist. So I feel you've kind of learned how to avoid this in relationships. People who come on very strong and then just don't do anything. So, you know, that's kind of like the energy I get here. I feel like this is what you're looking for. More your equal, right? Right here. Something that can grow. Something where people actually put in the work and, you know, do what they're supposed to do. Could be a Capricorn coming in for you, by the way. With the Ten of Swords, you have this affair card. So again, obviously, if there was a difficult ending, it could have been due to an affair. It doesn't have to be, though. This is actually like a good card in this deck as well. It can represent a positive affair, not like an affair like cheating like we think of it, but, you know, more just two people coming together in a connection. Could also be a Leo coming in for some of you, because you have this in the Strength card. You also have the Two of Cups as well, which also could represent Leo. So wouldn't really surprise me. With the Tower, you have this practicality card here. Too much logical energy is what I get here. If there was a Tower moment that you chose, I'm wondering if you were in a situation where if it was with a person, I feel like they were being too logical. They weren't like balancing out the energies, if that makes sense. Or I'm wondering if you just did this because you had to be practical. It's like you just kind of looked at a situation. You know, this is Virgo energy. And I'm sorry, this is Capricorn energy, but, you know, I'm kind of getting Virgo popping into my head. And it's very interesting because I keep getting the list thing popping into my head. I'm wondering if you, like, looked at a situation, wherever this Tower moment was in your life. I feel like you looked at a situation and you kind of, like, said, you know, it's like, I put in all this effort or whatever, but it's like, what do I get back? And I feel like you were just very matter-of-fact about a situation. I kind of feel like you're adopting this, by the way. I get a very matter-of-fact energy from you, which is probably good. I feel like you're like cutting out the crap. With the Two of Cups, you have the Enterprise card. I freaking love it. Definitely, there is so much success for you, Pisces, but again, you have to do the work. People constantly say to me, they're like, you said there'd be success, but nothing happened. I'm like, yeah, if you're doing the same thing you've been doing, you're not going to be successful. As I always say, it's like, you know, we have to put in the work, and people don't like when I say that. But I don't know, go watch... you know, go watch some Sunshine, Rainbows, and Butterflies channel that blows smoke up your ass and tells you you don't have to do anything, right? It's like, you know, I just tell the truth. And the truth is, there is a lot of success for us, but we have to do the work, and we have to do things that we've never done before as well. We also have to kind of push our limits. I think we have to kind of go outside of our comfort zone in any area of our life where we want to grow. Love, business, money, spirituality, and otherwise. So this means like maybe doing more work or just doing different work. I don't even think more is necessarily the answer if you want to become like super successful in business, for example. I just think that maybe taking the risk of being exposed, taking the risk of sticking to a plan as well as popping into my head. So it's like maybe normally you start something like a business and maybe you don't stick to a plan. Maybe you give up too early. And again, I'm not calling you out here because this is a lot of success. You know, Jupiter in Aries, tons of abundance, tons of success. We have Jupiter moving into Aries at the end of the year, which is going to be freaking amazing. You have until December 20-something to start planting seeds, Pisces, from now until December 20-something. If there's something new that you want to get started, no matter how big, or again, no matter how big or how small you put into something, doesn't matter how much energy is what I'm trying to spit out here, but what you put in is exactly what you're going to get out. So, well, not exactly, probably more. And the other thing is I would just start, and I would also just start small. Like if you're not sure what to do, but you want to start a YouTube channel, just get started because you're planting the seed. When Jupiter enters into Aries next year, the seed is going to grow big time, like Ace of Wands big. With the Three of Wands, you have this impulsiveness card. I would not be impulsive at this time, but I do feel that there could be some impulsive, I'm going to come back and clarify this because I'm kind of getting a weird message here. I'm not going to lie. On the Three of Wands and this impulsiveness card, it's like on one hand, I feel like it's saying there could be some like random opportunities that come into your life that you should absolutely accept, right? That could be big opportunities. It's like I'm almost hearing lottery in my head, but not like you're winning the lottery literally, but I feel like there could be some opportunities that feel pretty big, that feel like you're winning the lottery. You feel very lucky with these opportunities, right? But then I also feel like it's saying don't be impulsive. So what's the difference here? What I would say is like before we're gonna come back and clarify that again, just get more details on that. But without clarifying, I would say number one, I feel like you need to be honest with yourself. If you have an opportunity in business coming in, for example, right, and you've been learning about whatever this opportunity is for like years, then I feel like this card is saying go for it because you have the knowledge, right? So don't hesitate. But if you have some random crazy uncle that's like, oh, I found this business opportunity to, invest in head wiper fluid or something like that doesn't exist, right? And I just need like $1 million, then I would say don't do it because you didn't invest anything up front. So I feel like what I mean by that is education. So I feel like you need to look at the opportunities that come into your life and say, okay, I've been educating myself about this type of opportunity or something similar for a long time, so I know I have the knowledge. But if there are these, but I also feel sprinkled in there, again, there could be some opportunities that look shiny, they look really good, but maybe based off of past experience, something isn't right. And I feel you need to trust that, kind of inner voice. But there's clearly a lot of luck here. And again, we're going to come back to that in just a minute. With the Five of Pentacles, you have this exaltation card. I feel that you are kind of shining bright as far as relationships are concerned. So if you want love, and look, this is the moon in Taurus. This is going to be a full moon in Taurus. Total lunar eclipse as well. So this matches up very well with the energy, but I do feel that you are kind of being lifted up at this time. I also feel like you're getting a lot of attention. So just put yourself out there if you want love, but any other type of attention you want. I also feel that it is a good time just for personal relationships in general. Look at this. With the Ace of Wands for your future feelings, damn. You have this riches card. There is a ton of abundance coming in for you. Again, it is a very abundant time for you, Pisces, but again, you're going to have to do the work, and I would make sure that you're trying new things, and, that's exactly what I would do here. For some of you, I feel you could just be a little bit more focused on work for the next 3 months or so as well, like until the end of the year or something like that, or maybe like a little bit into January, I should say. And I think that's perfectly acceptable, just based off the astrology. So if you're not even focused on love, I would focus on your riches because you are becoming very successful. If you're wondering if you're ready, if you're wondering if a new opportunity is right for you, again, I would say, hell yes, definitely. With the Strength card, you have this Influence card here. So again, if you dealt with like a lying, cheating, stealing situation or an affair situation, there could have been some negative influences kind of that got in between you and your person. I definitely feel that for some of you. Of course, it's not going to be true for all of you. For others, I would be careful of who you are influenced by just in general. You have the Devil with the Flattery card with this card right here. I think this is a very abundant, very good reading, but I also think that that there are certain things in your life or certain people that have gotten in between you and opportunities before. This could be like in business. It's like, in business, I've had people in my life who it's like where I know I should make a decision, then I don't make it because of what other people say, and I always regret it, right? Because I know better. It's like, if you're getting advice from your cousin who works at Arby's or something like that, and, they're saying like, oh, don't start this business. It's like, have they ever started a business before? I'm not hating on working at Arby's. Someone always gets offended when I say that, but it's like, I don't care. Work at Arby's. That's fine. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, if you're taking advice from people who have no freaking clue what they're talking about, you shouldn't be taking their advice. I would also say same thing in love. It's like if you're taking advice in love, I always say I do not take advice in love, period, from pretty much anyone, basically, because it's like unless I'm inviting them into my bedroom with me, it's like I'm not going to take their advice, right? So that's my rule. It's like if your friends are talking shit about your relationship or whatever, it's like take the advice if you would invite them into your bedroom with your partner. But if you wouldn't, I would be very careful. Especially with this card, because there could be some influences, and this is probably a lesson that you've learned. But again, especially in business, it's like there might be people who, it's like they think they know what's best for you, but again, it's your life. I feel that's what this is saying. Let's pull another card there as well. So for that, yeah, you have the inheritance card. I'm wondering if this is family or family members as well that are kind of, that sometimes influence you. But again, I feel like you know better, so trust yourself. I want to pull 3 cards for this impulsiveness 3 of Wands situation, because I feel like there's just a lot more detail here. So for the 3 of Wands and that impulsive card, you have the 8 of Cups. Yeah, walking away from things that no longer serve you. This is, funny enough, the only card in the tarot that has an eclipse on it. So you're probably walking away from things that no longer serve you, period. You have the 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands is about committing to an opportunity. It doesn't have to be love, by the way, but 4 of Wands is a card of marriage. But on top of that, it's a card of committing to something. Like, maybe you have some sort of new idea for your business, which again, based off the astrology, would make perfect sense. I would commit to it and then make it happen. Don't do this kind of like back and forth thing. I get this, like, I'm a Pisces. I totally get, I mean, I've done it a million times. I still do it to this day, where it's like, okay, I'm going to go start this new business and I'm going to do like 4 things a day. Like I always say, I do 4 videos a day, no matter what, right? This is like the only thing that I stick to. But what I would say, well, that's a lie, because there's like other things. But what I would say is, it's like, I feel there's a need. You have this idea. You have some ideas of something new. I feel there's been a lot of confirmations for you here, Pisces. 4 Wands is like 11-11. So I think maybe you come up with these ideas. Maybe you see 11-11. Maybe you see 12-12 or some other repeating number. And I feel like these confirmations are basically the universe saying, like, are you going to plant these freaking seeds so they can grow next year or not, right? And I get a very matter-of-fact energy. You have the 7 of Cups every single time. 7 of Cups says there are these things that exist up here that you dream about, but you need to bring these things down to earth so you can actually experience them. Business opportunities, ideas, jobs, all sorts of things. So I feel like you need to manifest something here on earth, but you have to bring it down. You have to commit to something, is what this is saying. Again, there's a lot of success for you here, Pisces. So I'm going to pull 3 cards now, and I'm going to answer one question as always. So if you have a question, feel free to pause the reading and think of a question. If you don't have a question, that's fine too, because I'm just going to put all 3 together as like a personalish reading. So pause the video now. If you have a question, I'm going to start reading the cards. Damn. You have the Wheel of Fortune, the Magician, and the 6 of Swords. Definitely moving on to calmer shores. Wheel of Fortune is like your destiny. Magician is stepping, like, I feel like stepping into your true power is what I feel like saying. I feel at maybe like the highest vibration level of the Magician, he can totally represent that. 6 of Swords is about kind of leaving something behind and moving on to calmer shores. I say this woman and her child, they have nothing in the boat except the clothing on their back. So they're just trusting that they're moving in a new direction, in the right direction, and they're willing to sacrifice everything behind in hopes of a brighter future. And I'll tell you right now, Pisces, there's definitely a brighter future for you, especially for those of you that are starting something new, or that are like upgrading something, or, redoing something here. I definitely get that energy. I think the best thing for you, Pisces, at this time, very simple, be adaptable. There are going to be maybe some curveballs or some, things that come in. I think the trick is to center yourself, don't panic, and realize that there could be some illusions going on in the world as well, especially with this eclipse, a little tricky. But what I would say, but for us, it's actually pretty good. But what I would say is, like, slow things down when you get an idea. I would also think about like multiple ways that you could accomplish your idea, because again, we need to be adaptable. But pretty interesting. I see a lot of success coming in for you over the next like 6 months or so, probably till, just like I said in the October eclipse readings, until the next eclipses, which is going to be in April of 2023. So really nice. Looks good. So thank you for being here, Pisces. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.